Right. Thank you for volunteering. So, amongst the people standing up, you're people who are students who have an idea or a business. That's how you've defined yourself. I'd like some of you, into the next 45 minutes, to join me on stage to discuss your business. Don't sit down. You've already volunteered. So who is it you're actually targeting? Whose problem are you solving? What itch are you scratching?
Well, we're targeting, we have like 3 different stakeholders. We have users who are like users who like to read, for example, news with smartphones, which is pretty much 50% of the people using smartphones, and it's a growing trend. And then we have our customers who are like companies who might be willing to display advertisements that are focused locally to the people who are reading the news. And then we have the news medias who are willing to get statistics of what people would like to read about.
So let me just see if I can recapitulate it back to you. You tell me how close I am, okay? You're going to deliver a groundbreaking news service that collates and aggregates local news for the benefit of all of the younger generation who are primarily dependent on information and socialization through Facebook and smartphones, and redistribute it and take advantage of gathering up that audience for the benefit of advertisers who want to reach them. Is that what you said? Our modest promise is we will teach you how to think about your business or business idea. That's it. And what we mean by that is that it's my view, and the view of a bunch of other people, I suppose, is that all ideas are not created equal. Some ideas suck. And it's really good to know if your idea is no good before you start your business, rather than after going down the path a long ways. Therefore, if you want to start a successful business, it's better to be thoughtful about it and discover first what type of business your idea could create. And then along the way, you can shape it into the best it can be. There's lots of opportunity to be creative, not just in the product and service you create, but in the business you wrap around it. There's a reason I make distinct. When you answer the question, who is the customer? You're looking for proxies to customers. You're looking for attributes of people that you can hook onto, because you can only reach the people you can find. And therefore, you have to be really precise in what you're saying. So that's what we would call a surgery. Our goal is to deconstruct a business to find out what the actual challenge facing the team is at that moment in time. If it's an acting business, it's very easy, because businesses start and you evolve and you start moving down a path. If it's not an acting business, it becomes somewhat hypothetical, but still very valuable. There would be still, if he hadn't started the business, there would still be lots of interesting and useful ways for him then to interrogate the real world to figure out how he would reach the market. Startups suffer the same type of death. In the early days of a business, businesses make mistakes. Those mistakes, and it comes in the flurry, right? You're making 1,000 decisions, and those decisions come very quickly. But what happens is, every once in a while, a really big decision goes by, and you didn't notice it, and you picked the wrong answer. And amongst the many decisions you made, that one was fatal. And you find out a few minutes later when your heart stops, when you run out of cash. And you can't untwine it necessarily. So the trick, if somebody trying to help you start a business, is to stop you from making fatal mistakes. If you can get through that first turbulent period, odds are you'll survive. You may prosper, you may struggle, but odds are you'll survive. Therefore, as somebody in the business of helping somebody start a business, my goal is not to teach you how to win, it's to keep you from death. And it's to keep you from death long enough until you can win by yourself. And we will ask you to try to dig in and find out what matters for your business. And the way you do that is you answer some questions. Because if you know who the customers are and your choice of customers, you can then make intelligent decisions as to which customer base you reach first. I'll give you an example. It is frequently the case that somebody will stand up and they'll pitch their business to me, and they'll tell me that there is this huge market out there, this one market segment that's 1,000 times bigger than the other market segments. And they'll say, so obviously we're going to go for the big one. There's nothing obvious about that at all. It's not the size of a market segment that makes it desirable. It's the pace of growth of a market segment that makes it desirable. I would much rather have a startup running after an incredibly small market segment that's growing at 200% a year than market segment of any size that's not growing at all. After all, the attributes of a market segment that's not growing is there are no new customers. The attribute of a market segment that's not growing is everyone already has an incumbent, and the problem is somehow being solved or ameliorated without your intervention. Whereas in a growing market, there's new entrants who haven't solved the problem. Against you, you don't have an incumbent competitor. I think we better end on that question before I go downhill. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much.